Welcome to the Quantometric Summer 2026 product launch. I'm Nate Wright, Vice President of Product Marketing.
And I'm Chris Nowak, Senior Director of Product.
Today, we're excited to share the latest innovations and enhancements to the Quantometric platform. This launch is all about helping you and your organizations accelerate the path from digital signals to intelligent action. Today, we're going to do this in 3 ways. The first is through expanded digital visibility, giving you and your teams a more complete view of your customers' digital behavior. Next, through a simplified platform experience, making it easier to take action based on insights. And finally, by continuing to build out an Agentic Analytics platform, automating analysis and insight generation so you can focus more time on building great customer experiences. To really bring these new capabilities to life and to give you a sense of how each of these new innovations work, we're going to be joined by some of the teams and individuals behind these products. Chris, can you take us into our first theme?
Definitely. Our first theme is about expanding your field of vision. You can't improve experiences you can't see, and sometimes there's still too much out of you. Because our digital experiences don't live exclusively in a desktop browser. They live in your app, on a smartphone, over a spotty connection, standing in an airport terminal. And they happen at the very edges of the experience that traditional tools sometimes fail to reach. The silent crash, the session driven by user intent, but through an agent.
Exactly. And today we're eliminating 2 of the largest blind spots, ensuring the reality you see on your screen perfectly matches the reality your customers just experienced. But enough from us. Let's actually see it. Here to talk to us about mobile crash reporting and AI traffic analytics is Staff Product Manager Lauren Edwardson.
Thanks, Nate and Chris. Let's get into it. Right now, someone's trying to use your mobile app, and it crashes. They close it and move on. You usually find out the hard way. A revenue dip, a support ticket, a developer who stumbles on it. By then, the damage is done. And when you go looking, most tools just give you a number on a dashboard. Something's wrong, but not what, not who, not how bad. And that crash data sits in a separate tool, cut off from everything else you know about that customer. So you're stitching tools together and still guessing. Our new mobile crash analytics changes that. You get the full session context of every crash, not just a total count or a stack trace, but the real user journey that led to it. Here's the scenario I want to walk you through. We're getting ready to launch a new app. We're in beta with real customers using it. The question is it ready? I'm starting on our out-of-the-box crash dashboard. Total crashes, affected sessions, crash free rate, everything in one view, no configuration required. And I've scoped this to real users, filtering out our internal test devices, so everything here is genuine customer impact. This crash-free session rate is lower than I'd like, so I want to understand what's going on. Right now, that Android crash rate catches my eye. As I scroll down, I can see a high-level overview by platform, the types of crashes, when they're hitting, and the devices affected. It definitely looks like something on Android's not right, but it's not isolated to a particular device. So let me dig in. Now here's where it gets efficient. QM automatically groups every crash by root cause and ranks them by impact, the number of sessions each one is actually hitting. And there's my Android spike right at the top, this null pointer exception crash. I don't have to scroll through every individual crash report. The most important crash is already at the top. Inside this group, I get every session that experienced the crash. And Felix has already summarized the root cause. It looks like the app is crashing when users try to select seats during the booking flow. Before I've watched a single replay, I know what's happening and where. But let me confirm it by watching one of these replays. This is the part that makes us different. A crash isn't a standalone report anymore. It's tied to a real user session, every tap, every screen, every network call, right up to the moment it broke. Let's check out what the user was doing leading up to the crash. I see they're looking for flights from JFK to LAX. They were able to view a seat map for one flight, but I can see when they try to view the seat map on the second flight, the app dies, just like Felix said. What could be causing this? Let me hone in on the crash and view the stack trace. With this human-readable stack trace mapped directly to source code, I can hand this to a developer and get out of their way. No hours of back and forth, no can you reproduce it? The answer is already here. So that's mobile crash analytics. In a few minutes, I went from, is our app ready, to I know exactly what's breaking, I know the line of code behind it, and I watched a real user hit it. Felix pointed me the cause, and the session proved it out. That's the whole story in one place. Now let's zoom out from what happens when your app breaks and talk about something you probably don't have a clean read on yet. Who's actually coming to your site, and where are they coming from? A year or two ago, your top traffic sources were simple: paid search, organic, social, email. You knew how each behaved, and you optimized accordingly. Then something shifted. LLMs started sending you customers, not just bot traffic, but real buyers. People who asked an AI, "What's the best outdoor jacket?" and got sent straight to your product page. The problem? These AI bots and referrals don't behave the same way that you've seen before. So your conversion rates look a little off, and your bounce rates don't make sense. Your decisions are being made on blended traffic that masks what's actually happening. By using AI traffic analytics, you can instantly segment both AI bot traffic and AI referred traffic from all their traffic sources and compare behavior, performance, and friction across each in the same platform where you're already doing everything else. The question I want to walk through today is, are AI referred visitors converting at a different rate? And are there experience gaps we should be optimizing specifically for them? Here, you can see a dashboard where my AI traffic is automatically dimensionalized, identifying sessions referred from ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and other LLMs. No tagging required, no UTM dependency. I can see right away how this cohort compares to other traffic: conversion rate, revenue, number of sessions, average engage time, and bounce rate. Every KPI side by side. Check out the conversion rate. This is where it gets interesting. AI-referred visitors are converting, in some cases at meaningfully higher rates than organic or paid. But look at the bounce rate. When they're AI referrals, customers arrive with a specific item in mind, and they're much more likely to progress to the next step in the flow compared to what we see across other types of traffic. LL Bean saw this exact pattern. AI-referred users landed deep, often straight on a product page, and interacted heavily with reviews and user-generated content. These users are validating a decision, not discovering a brand. That tells you something very specific about what your experience needs to do for them. Old assumptions that someone always comes through the homepage? Not necessarily. And AI traffic is not monolithic. ChatGPT behaves differently from Claude. Gemini users look different from both. Each LLM trains differently, recommends differently, and attracts a slightly different buyer. And because this is quantum, I'm not stuck in the aggregate. I can jump into any of these individual sessions and see exactly where they landed, what they looked at, what stopped them, and whether they converted. If I spot a friction pattern, reviews not loading, or an intrusive modal firing on entry, I have the evidence to act on it. The AI-referred audience isn't going away. According to our latest AI Experience Benchmark report, this segment is growing across every vertical, and the gap between brands that understand it and brands that don't is already showing up in revenue. You can't optimize for customers you can't see. With AI traffic analytics, now you can see them.
Amazing, Lauren. Thank you. I know so many of you are looking forward to this. Mobile crashes you can view and quantify just the way your customers experience them, and tied directly to the number of people affected, as well as the impact on your experience and on your revenue. Crash Analytics is now in beta. And detailed views into an incredibly important class of traffic, AI agents and assistants navigating your site on behalf of your customers, is also available right now on Quantimetric.
There's two other ways we are expanding digital visibility today. The first is helping you access more of your rich Quantimetric data in more places. With our new AEP connector, we're making it much easier to connect Quantimetric's behavioral data with Adobe Experience Platform and Customer Journey Analytics through a no-code configuration-based setup. With this new capability, you can now map Quantimetric data to Adobe schemas in minutes, and you can enrich your Adobe Customer Journey Analytics data with more than 60 behavioral signals. One of our beta partners, Wyndham Hotels, used this solution to complete a migration that was expected to take 8 months in just 45 days. So this can help you drive much faster and more efficient migrations while ensuring that you can access all of your experience data within your Adobe environment.
And finally, we're helping you expand your digital visibility through Flutter on web, which extends our existing Flutter support beyond mobile so that you get the exact same depth of insight on the web as you do natively in the app.
Our next update is when you're going to feel the fastest, and it's more refinement than reinvention, because innovation isn't only about introducing new capabilities. A simplified platform experience is about improving what you rely on every day, and each one of these changes has been driven by your feedback.
I like that distinction, Nate. We're always listening closely to what you tell us about maintaining data, updating reporting, editing dashboards, and monitoring your most critical experiences. What you said wasn't that the work itself was too difficult. It was that the power in the platform occasionally gets in the way. Too many clicks, too many fragmented saves. So this set of capabilities were designed specifically to hand you your time back. Faster to configure, simpler to manage. To walk through some of the updates in this area, we'll now turn it over to Dylan Smith, Senior Product Marketing Manager.
Great, let's get into it. Now, there's a lot that you can do in the quantum metric platform, and sometimes all those options can feel a little bit daunting. AI is going to be making things a lot simpler and also a lot more powerful, but you're still going to need to log in and use a lot of the quantum metric features that you're a little bit more used to. So we're going to continue to work on those in addition to our AI features that are coming out. Now, one of our colleagues here at Quantum Metrics says, sometimes you just got to make the easy, easy. So let's look at a few ways that we're doing that across 3 of our core platform features in interactions, alerts, and dashboards. Now, the first one that we're going to look at has to do with our interactions platform. And typically with interactions, one of the questions that we're frequently trying to answer is how do the different elements that are on my page perform over time? With mapped zones, what we're going to do is give this thing a name that you and I recognize. So something like flash deals. And we're going to map that name to some underlying metadata that's associated with the carousel rather than the carousel itself or its location on the page. And what that allows us to do is even as everything changes about the carousel, the things that go through it, where it is, we're going to be associating all the data, things like impressions and clicks, with that underlying metadata, which is then mapped to the name. So let's take a look at how that actually makes things easier. So here's a dashboard that has all of the data from that page. And instead of showing the data that's associated with like the area of the page or like the individual elements that might change, the data is actually mapped to the name that we gave it. So in this case, flash deals. So as that carousel changes over time, the content within it changes when it moves on the page, all of the data is still going to show up next to this name, flash deals. So I can see the impressions, time and view, clicks, etc. I can also do the same thing with the positions of the page. So for example, I want to look at maybe how our top section is performing, or maybe I have a section called Hero Banner and I want to understand how that performs, even as the content changes and I rotate different things through. And I can do the exact same thing as I did with our content over here, I can do with the position, so that as content changes, I can continue to see how impressions, time and view, and zone clicks evolve with that section of the page. Okay, so map zones, huge time saver, especially if you're a team of different people that are responsible for rotating through different products and you want to make sure that you can use the same dashboard. Map zones is something that's going to allow you to do that. All right, the next way that we're making the easy has to do with alerts. Now, alerts is something that's supposed to be a real peace of mind saver, right? You don't have to go in and look at your data and your dashboards on a regular basis. Just tell me if something's wrong. And over the last year, we've introduced a lot of new features to alerts to make it much more user-friendly. So things like bulk editing, labels, dimensional alerts, custom alert periods, and something we call focus incident view. Let's start with rolling windows. So here we're looking at our standard alert creation screen, and I've skipped ahead for a few steps, but we're going to be creating an alert that lets us know if customers are experiencing a high amount of frustration when they're trying to log in. And that's really important, right? Because if customers can't log in, maybe they can't pay their bill, they can't update their account, they're going to get really frustrated with us, they're going to call into our contact center, etc. So if people are having a hard time calling in, I want to know really quickly. So maybe I'm going to set this alert to run every 5 minutes and let me know if, say, more than a third of our customers are experiencing an issue, then I'll look into it. But what we can see here is if we set that, we're going to get a lot of alert triggers that are going to come to us. And it looks like a lot of these are probably some pretty short-term things, maybe some APIs that were acting a little funky, but quickly got addressed. So this is going to end up alerting me a lot of times when I don't need to actually take action. But with rolling windows, I can change the calculation that it's doing, because right now it's looking every 5 minutes at the previous 5 minutes worth of data. Rolling windows lets me look at a different time period than how frequently it runs the evaluation. So now what I'm having the system do is every 5 minutes, check whether my error rate is greater than 33%, but look at data from the last hour to make that determination. So we can look at the change in the number of alerts that I'm going to get. Now it looks like I'm really only seeing 2, maybe 3 periods where there's a potential issue that I want to dig into. So that means a lot fewer false alarms and a lot fewer people are getting annoyed by all those alerts going out. So now you're going to be having all of these changes to your alert system, and how on earth are you going to keep track of them? So glad you asked, because now we also have our audit log capability. So now in any individual alert, I can click the 3 dots menu, hit change log, and it's going to give me that log of all of the changes that have been made to this alert over time. Everything from when it was first created, to if it's been paused, to if I made changes to its frequency or its metric. I can see all that right here. So if you've got an alert that's no longer triggering, you haven't heard from it for a while, or maybe one's going off a lot more than you expect, this is your first place to go for diagnosis of that. No more running around asking people if they made changes or starting over because you can't remember what on earth this alert does anymore. Audit logs are going to be your new best friend. Okay. The last section that we're going to be looking into has to do with dashboards, and specifically editing dashboard cards. Now, most dashboards at Quantimetric are actually composed of these individual cards that show you slightly different versions of the experience that you're trying to understand. And previously, if you wanted to edit these, you'd click this 3 dots menu and click edit card, and a little pop-up would show up. And you can make those changes, hit save, and you'd see the changes reflected in your dashboard. And that's not so bad if you want to just make 1 or 2 small changes. But if you want to make a bunch of changes to a dashboard or are overhauling a card entirely, it can be a bit cumbersome, and we wanted to make it easier. Now, when we click edit card on a dashboard card, this window appears to the left while my dashboard's still in view. Furthermore, when I make any changes in my editing, those changes get reflected in real time on the dashboard. So I can see as I change this polarity indicator between good and bad, all those changes are being reflected in the card right then and there. So no more making the changes, hitting save, looking at my dashboard, pulling the pop-up again. All the changes are right there for me to see. Piece of cake. All right. So there's 4 time-saving, user-friendly additions to the Quantimetric platform for you, ready to go.
Those were just a few of the ways we're working to improve the core platform experience for you. Now let's shift gears and talk about some of the latest updates on Agentic Analytics. This is probably the area we got the most questions about. Every organization today is sitting on an enormous amount of customer and experience data. The challenge isn't collecting more data, the challenge is turning that data into understanding and action before the opportunity is gone. Earlier this year, we introduced Felix Agentic and began working closely with a group of beta customers to understand where agentic capabilities could create the most value. What we learned was that customers aren't simply looking for faster answers. They're looking for help discovering insights, monitoring their business, and automating the analysis work that consumes so much of their time.
Right. With better visibility and efficiency, the next step is helping the platform and Felix give you and your teams even more of a lift. We're excited to announce that Felix Agentic, including chat, background agents, and Copilot, is available today. And we're also introducing new capabilities, including skills and workflows that make it even easier to automate analysis and build expertise across your organization. To showcase some of our latest capabilities in these areas, let's hear from Brian Pahusky, Director of Product Management.
Thanks, Chris. Let's start with the most direct way to work with Felix, conversation. Let's say I run a few campaigns for my brand, apparel and gifts, and I'm trying to reduce wasted spend. I want to know something that seems really simple. Historically, answering this simple question often meant stumbling through mechanics like building dashboards, figuring out metrics, events, what cards to use, how to build them, how to analyze them. So instead, let's have a simple conversation with Felix. At any point, I can ask Felix what information it has access to. So in this case, I'm running gifts and apparel campaigns. So I asked if it has the information about that traffic I'm sending. As you can see, Felix found information about relevant campaigns. As a way to make future conversations easier, I also simply told Felix right in chat, these are the campaigns that matter to me. Felix saved this information and will refer to it in future chats when we discuss campaigns. Now, let's figure out if we're wasting spend by landing people on out-of-stock product pages. In this case, I want to know both the rate and the specific products for my campaigns that are having issues. As you can see, Felix is figuring out the approach, it's fetching relevant information, it's doing that analysis, and it's helping you understand the problem just as a colleague would. Felix comes with thinking and querying and tool calls, all expandable by default for traceability and trust baked right into that answer. So you can also just simply ask Felix about the approach directly in chat. One thing you might notice in this output are skills. Skills are a way to extend Felix's knowledge, its approach, and your own business context. So with skills, Felix can learn and improve with your organizational use. Like most Felix capabilities, skills can be built right in chat through conversation. And as you can see, Felix found out of stock rates for my campaigns, and it gave me a breakdown of those products just like I asked. I got the information I was looking for, but what about the next time I need it? I simply ask Felix to help me out. With this request in chat, Felix will now turn this analysis into a structured workflow. This means Felix will do this exact check again, the same way, anytime I need it, without me explaining it all over again. Okay, this looks good. I'm just going to confirm by telling Felix to go ahead and build it. Now, this can take a little bit of time, so let me just jump to a workflow that Felix made for me earlier. As you can see, Felix and I built this workflow together. I can now quickly and easily have Felix run the same exact analysis anytime I want by using a simple @ command in chat. After chatting with Felix, I have visibility into my campaigns right now. With this workflow, I have visibility on demand anytime I need it. What about tomorrow? What about every day? My campaigns are always going to be running, and out-of-stock products are a lingering threat to my spend and customer experience. So at any time throughout my day or week, I want multiple types of analysis to be running on my behalf automatically. So to help with automating both the analysis and the evaluation, we can use something called background agents. As the name implies, background agents help you monitor your business and conduct investigations on your behalf. They're really great for monitoring key areas of your business and automating repetitive analysis tasks. Background agents can run prompts, execute structured workflows, and even build and send reports all automatically on a schedule or when triggered. They can even perform evaluations to highlight what matters and cut through that noise. Here, I have background agent that conducts merchandising analysis. It also runs a few workflows, synthesizes, evaluates, and it scores the results so I know if there's an issue needing my attention or not. So with chat, you can explore customer experiences and dig into questions through simple conversation. With skills and workflows, you can make context and processes consistently repeatable. And with those background agents, you can automate monitoring and repetitive analysis for your business. Together, these capabilities help teams spend less time searching for answers and more time driving outcomes.
Thanks, Brian. One thing we've really enjoyed seeing is how customers have already started putting these new capabilities to work. For example, one retailer we worked with built a background agent to monitor their conversion funnels. That agent automatically identified an issue that led to a 153% increase in add-to-cart errors. The team was alerted automatically, and they were able to quickly understand and resolve the problem. Beyond that, customers have built custom background agents to serve a wide array of use cases. These include workflows to identify human traffic being misclassified as bots on websites, health score agents to measure digital experiences against a custom set of criteria, or error monitoring agents to continuously report on errors and their root causes. In each of these cases, Felix Agentic delivers analysis about how these metrics are performing with insights into what to do next. These aren't new processes. They're existing reporting and analysis workflows that are being automated, scaled, and improved through Felix Agentic with background agents. And these are flexible and customizable to your use cases.
Yeah, and that's really the through line here. Chat is there the moment you formulate a new question. Agents keep watch and monitor your business automatically, and both leverage new skills and workflows to ensure that Felix Agentic has the context it needs to deliver accurate, repeatable answers you can trust, consistent with your business definitions every single time. And now, Felix Copilot brings that exact same intelligence directly into the environments where you already spend your day, your dashboards, your funnels, your segments, and your metrics, helping you ask questions in context and investigate trends right when you need it most. Let's hear from Jamie Milstein, Senior Product Manager, on how these new capabilities will help you do even more in the platform.
Thanks, Chris. So think about how you actually use analytics. When you have a problem to dig into, where do you go? You go to a dashboard. And dashboards are built to show you everything. That's their job. Say it's your checkout experience dashboard. You have 20 cars, every metric you could care about, all in one place. Just by navigating to it, you scope the problem. Now, the data isn't the issue. It's all in front of you, and that's exactly the point. The challenge is making sense of it. It's like opening your inbox to 200 unread emails. Everything you need is in there, but finding the one that actually matters this morning is still entirely on you. Somewhere across those 20 cards is the thing that matters today. A spike, a drop, a pattern we're chasing, and servicing it is on you. You want someone to look at everything and say, here's what to focus on. And that's exactly where Felix Copilot comes in. So here you can see my experience dashboard. I come here when something feels off with the UX. And as you can see, there's a lot here. Conversion, errors, drop-off, latency. I can filter this by device, by page. All of it's relevant, but none of it is telling me where to start. So I'm going to bring in Felix right here with all the context of the dashboard. I don't have to know the perfect question. I can click one of the out-of-the-box prompts, as you could see, or I could type in, what should I look at? In this case, I've already preloaded a summarization of this dashboard. As you can see from the response, Felix reads the entire dashboard. It's going to run live queries, and it's going to rank what actually matters, turning these 20 cards into one clear priority. Now, right away, something that's interesting to me is this promo code leak. I can see that the promo code conversion rate has actually collapsed by 57%. Now, this is interesting, and it might be something I want to keep digging into. I could continue the conversation right inside of this chat, but I could also use something called Inspect and Ask. Inspect and Ask is what you use when you open up a dashboard and you visually notice an anomaly, like this one right here with the promo card conversion rate being down, but you don't necessarily know what could have caused it. Previously, it would force a days-long investigation, where I'm trying to figure out all the causal data that could have affected this. Not anymore with Copilot. I can click in and analyze that exact moment in time. All that data is sent to Copilot, the metric, the before and after, and anything related to understand exactly why this dipped. Right away, I can see that the free promo code was heavily attempted, but it failed every single time. This tells me that this is a promo code I need to get fixed to then get back up into production so users can actually use it. Now, Felix is grounded in the trend that we notice, not just a generic explanation. I can point something very specific, and that's really the difference. I don't have to describe the problem, I just need to point at it. What you've seen in this demo is Felix Copilot. It's where you go to explore and understand exactly what's happening in the workflow you're already in. Helps you find your focus, and helps you point at the exact anomaly that you discovered and uncover the questions you have. More to come on Copilot as we begin to expand this to other parts of the Quantum platform with interactions up next.
As you just saw from Jamie's demo, the goal of Copilot is simple: to bring agentic capabilities directly into the places where work is already happening. Instead of switching tools or building analyses from scratch, you can investigate, understand, and build directly within the quantum metric experiences that you use every day.
Absolutely. And not just within quantum metric. Increasingly, you've told us that you want Felix's intelligence embedded into the other platforms where your teams live, directly in Claude, in your internal AI platforms, and the core systems where your product and engineering teams are already building. We've crafted Felix so that it can be available wherever work happens. Brian is back to share a quick preview of that vision.
Yes, it's coming. Right now in private beta, customers are leveraging quantum metric within their own processes and systems via the quantum metric MCP server. I'll walk you through two short demonstrations. The first is a product manager who uses Claude and Web to investigate an issue and produce a ticket for an engineering team. So as a product manager, I've been getting some indications that checkout has been having some issues. Not really sure what's going on, but I'm going to use Claude to help me investigate. After asking Claude to look in this issue, you'll notice that Claude is leveraging the quantum metric MCP to start investigating. The most common way we see the market leveraging MCP servers today is by fetching predetermined analysis and metrics. These systems are typically good at retrieving data that already exists or pre-configured analysis. Their capabilities, though, are typically narrow and they encounter issues with new scenarios in the wild. That's why we're approaching MCP capabilities differently. Instead of just fetching predetermined resources and analysis, the quantum metric MCP is built to act like an analyst. It understands intent, builds queries unique to the situation required, and can adapt to new scenarios. With Quantum Metrics MCP server, you can enable your own systems and processes to truly think and reason with the same powerful context and capabilities as you can within Quantum Metrics user interface. That's why we're putting those same capabilities in the hands of the assistants you already use every day, like Claude, ChatGPT, your own AI systems, The goal is really simple. Meet you where you are with the full power of Quantometric at your fingertips. Quantometric's tools, skills, context, and querying are leveraged by the model to not only fetch relevant data, but more importantly, contextualize and think through the approach and conduct analysis for me for my unique scenario. It's exploring as it goes. It's not just fetching predetermined analysis or assets. In this case, it looks like something's going on with PayPal. With this rich quantometric context, Claude can easily make a JIRA ticket for my engineering colleagues to look at. It has a rich context of the investigation and even includes example replays so engineering can confirm the experience. Great, we've identified an issue, but let's look at the scenario from the other perspective. As an engineer, I can build and ship code faster than ever. Determining what needs to change and why, that is still a challenge. So I'm going to start by pulling in that JIRA ticket into my Claude Code session. With tickets, we often don't get all the information, and I notice I really want some more specifics to help me narrow down the cause. In this case, I know that there is an issue, but I really need more information on what the specific issue is and where it started. I'm going to see if we can identify and verify the source of the issue and when it first started. After some time using Quantometric, Claude verified the issue and its starting time. Claude can now use this rich context to investigate merges that occurred around that same time frame in my code repository, all without me having to leave my terminal. With the time we have today, we're only scratching the surface. Whether it's building docs or decks, investigating issues, or speeding up your development pipeline, Quantometric's MCP server helps you leverage the power of Quantometric where you work every day. This is currently in private beta in the hands of a few customers like you, and we're so excited to show you a glimpse of where we're headed.
So that's where we're headed with Felix Agentic with MCP. When I think back over everything we shared today, what stands out to me is that all of these updates, whether it's expanded digital visibility, a simplified platform experience, or Felix Agentic, they're all really solving the same problem, helping you spend less time figuring out what's happening and more time improving the experiences your customers have every day.
Exactly. Every demo today was unique, but they all build toward the same outcomes: better visibility, less friction, faster answers, and ultimately more confidence when it's time to make a decision.
If you'd like to learn more about any of the capabilities we shared today, visit our website or reach out to your account team. And we'd really love to hear what you think. Join the conversation in the Quad, our customer community, and let us know what's most exciting or what you'd like to see next.
We'd also like to say thank you to our presenters today, to the Quantometric team, from engineering to customer success and everyone in between, who work to bring each new evolution of our roadmap to life. And finally, thank all of you for your time and your feedback. The features you saw today were inspired by you, by the real-world problems that you face, the insights you're after, and the experiences that you're responsible for every single day. We're incredibly proud to support this community of digital leaders, and we cannot wait to see what you build next. Do you want me to do it again? Giving you a hard time, Steve.